year later, the famous SCCA June sprints were born right here in Elkhart Lake. Well, let's begin our track guide around this 4.04 mile road course as we start at the exit of turn 14 and head up this long front straightaway. Drivers really look forward to this area of the track as it's one of the fastest areas of the course and obviously providing slipstream opportunities for them to overtake their competitors. We come up over the crest of the hill, heading down into turn 1. This is where all the overtaking takes place. You'll see it at the starter races going 2 and 3 wide through this corner. Very fast entry and a very fast exit around turn 1 as we head down the hill around this slight bend to the right, turn 2, and entering our second right, turn 3. Very important here to get that nose set just right, as you got to get every inch of that track used up on the exit to get the speed down this second straightaway on the course, or second longest straightaway I should say. This one coming in right at a half a mile in length. As we head down through Moraine's Sweep, this is going to take us to the heaviest brake zone on the track, turn 5. It's known for its braking, and it is very difficult to get right every time. Get a good run up out of 5 to come up the hill to the famous Corvette walkway into turn 6. Slight left-hander, got to be real careful on exit. Modulate that throttle a little bit. Heading down into turn 7, pretty much wide open. Take a little bit of curve on the inside. Which brings us down through Hurry Downs into turn 8. Coming out of 8, we'll approach the Johnsonville sign and head into the carousel. Turn 9 at the entry, and it'll be turn 10 at the exit. Very difficult turn here to get right as well. You got to modulate that throttle, get that nose planted so you can get a nice fast run down to the King, one of the most dangerous courses on the track. Got to lift on entry, get that throttle right back at the right point so you can set that car right on the edge on exit. The back straightaway, another fast straight here, coming into another heavy braking zone as we come down through Kettle Bottoms and into turn 12. Get a good fast launch out of here as you got to climb uphill through Bill Mitchell Bend, turn 13, exit out of here up into 4th gear, and this brings us to the final corner on the track, turn 14. Most critical turn to get right as it brings you out onto this long half-mile straightaway and up the hill. We approach the start-finish line. That is your track guide for Road America, located here in Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin. Thank you for being with us.
Sport didn't disappoint, and the action will continue just a week later as we travel back to the USA. Today we welcome you to Road America, located near Elkhart Lake in Wisconsin. It is the 7th round of the Extreme Motorsports Ricmotech Sports Car Series. Today it's presented by Performer Elite Texas Graphics, with all coverage on your beloved Apex Racing TV. There are the track details up on screen for you for the moment. It is a 6.4 kilometer circuit. That is 3.9 miles, depending on your units of choice. Look at the altitude, of course. There is 48 meters of elevation change. That's whopping, because you almost wouldn't notice it around this 6.4 kilometer circuit. We're using the full course layout here today. 23 kilometer an hour winds. It is gusty out there. 28 degrees, so it's a hot day with 44 degree track temps. Very slippery track, and that will challenge the drivers today for 60 minutes of racing action. Your commentary team for today's event is myself, Jonathan Simon, alongside Tyler Maxson, who's also on production. And Tyler, you've driven this track both virtually and IRL, and mean, we were discussing this before the broadcast. I found it very fascinating. You don't find the carousel the most difficult corner. You said it was turn 1 and turn 3.
Yeah, definitely an interesting aspect on the track, and it's one of those things where if you don't drive it in real life, you really don't realize how difficult those corners really are. Turn 1 sets you up so well for turn 3, and if you don't get turn 3 right, you're going to be a sitting duck all the way down the back straight away. So it's so important that you get turn 3 correct and get the run down the back straight away. The carousel's another difficult one, but those are definitely one of the 2 trickier ones.
We are now currently in qualifying. Your session is about to finish, and qualifying today is presented by Performer Elite Texas Graphics. While the qualifying is just about to conclude, here are your championship standings for your Mustang Pro class. And Aero Nom drove splendidly, didn't he, at Mosport here, Tyler, and yet again extends his championship lead ahead of Mike Dam, Evan Ford. That battle, though, between Aero Nom and Mike Dam was oh so close at Mosport, wasn't it? And it went down to the final laps.
Yeah, went down to the final laps, and that means that those 2 are tied for second place in the championship. Brendan Whitworth is not too far back in 4th place, and nor is Robert Hartley, who missed last round. It's only 10 points back from Whitworth, so that's still a good battle in the pro class.
So you will look at your... Yeah, we're going to look at your open class for your Mustangs. And Chad Parker currently leads the standings ahead of Jake Johansson, Jennifer McDonald in the 3rd position. Now, those top 3 there, that's going to be a tight tussle for glory to end the season because, I mean, McDonald's been a lot quicker. We've seen better from her. Johansson and Parker in a nice little 6-point gap between those 2. Anything can happen in these final few rounds. You know, we still have VIR to come up next, a very tight, twisty circuit. And then you also approach the rounds of Mid-Ohio and Sebring to end the season. Sebring will be another 90-minute event with a lot of points on offer.
Yeah, definitely another longer event that is going to offer a lot of points for these drivers. So it's definitely crucial that they start to rack up the points as we are just after the midway point of the season, I believe.
Then we'll take a look at your MX-5s. There it is. And Eric Violet is tied for the lead with John Allen, Travis Schwenke in a close 3rd. Another tight tussle for glory there. Now, the thing I see here, Tyler, is, yes, it's all important to do well in the race, but there are bonus points on offer. So these drivers should be looking to lead laps for 1 extra point. Grabbing pole today will have another bonus point to their name. Most spots gained will be tough if you're qualifying up the list, but those are those bonus points that could make the difference in the race. And most of all, avoiding the incidents, because in the 60-minute race today, there's a 17x incident limit. And any more than that, drivers will receive drive-throughs and penalty points depending on how many they receive. So we look at your MX-5 open standings.
So there's the open standings up on your screen. Jacob Beasley at 154 points. He's just about 25 points over Greg Mack. And actually, it's only 15 points. I'm sorry, my math is terrible. Len Murphy, just about 20 points back from him in 3rd. Then it's Michael Key and Mike Taylor. That's going to round out your top 5. And as we just wait on qualifying to end, we'll take a look at the grid as soon as it becomes available to us.
Most certainly. And again, qualifying and the race today presented by Performer Elite Texas Graphics. So check them out over the world of the internet. And lots on offer from them as we're still waiting for the session to cycle through. Anytime now, it could be quite a while, Tyler. I think to fill in while we wait for the moment, the overtaking spots today at Road America include turn number 1, and then so turn number 1 at the bottom left-hand side of the screen there. Then all the way to turn 5 is another good overtaking point. And then Canada Corner, you'd say, is your 3rd best spot?
To be honest with you, I actually put Canada Corner down as one of the number 1 spots to overtake. It's one of those hairpins that you can outbrake someone in. Turn 1, you're going in so deep. into turn 1, you're carrying so much speed. It's so easy for the drivers to hold it around the outside and actually prevent you from making the move. Turn 5 is another one of those corners where it's just kind of the same way. It's easy for the driver to hold it around the outside and easily get back by you if you're not fully committed to the move. Canada corner is one of those ones where when they're on the outside, there's really nothing that they can do.
Certainly. And the session close to being completed. Race marshals and drivers just discussing last minute here, a couple of areas of concern, and probably a bit of banter as well, Tyler. That was my favorite part about league racing, was talking smack during the final stages of qualifying as we head to the race and having a laugh. And then it's serious time as soon as you start to grid up for the event.
Yeah, definitely. One of the most fun times, especially whenever you're in a league and you're with drivers that you do like to race with week in and week out. So it's drivers just waiting on everything to finish up. We're just shouldn't have too much time left for it to finish up. I believe we're going to have about another 10 to 20 seconds left of that. Then we will be able to bring the grid to you here for Road America. Should be an awesome 60-minute race. We're just got off a 90-minute at Mossport, and now we're here at Road America for another 60-minute race.
So let's take a look at your race strategy for today's event. And we are expecting your Mustangs to go about 13 to 14 laps on a tank of fuel as usual. That is, the race should go about 28 to 29 laps for your Mustang class, double the distance for your MX-5s. We're expecting your MX-5s to go about 27 to 28 laps through this event on the tank of fuel. So we're expecting one pit stop here, Tyler, today. The Mazda drivers more than likely to take 2 or more tires, and then your Mustangs will most likely take 4 tires as we take a look at the grid for the first time.
Yeah, so Aeronam is going to start on the pole alongside Kevin Ford. Robert Hartley will be in 3rd, and Mike Dam will round out the 4th spot. Tyler Shiflett will round out your top 5. Jeff Jacobs starts in 6th. Brandon Whitworth 7th. Leon Wright, Jake Johansson, and Jennifer McDonald. That's going to be your top 10. And as we cycle through here now, Steve Daniel will start out of 11th. Chad Parker in 12th. Raymond Bader in 13th. Matthew Katila in 14th. Robert Breest in 15th. And that is going to round out your Mustangs. Then we're going to work our way now into your MX-5. DJ Allison Jerini, he won in Detroit Belle Isle just a few weeks ago. So he's definitely going to be one to watch for. David Payton is going to start on the outside in row number 1. Clifford Eben is going to be in 3rd. Jim List in 4th. Eric Violet in 5th. Jonathan White 6th. Bobby Child 7th. Travis Schwenke 8th. Chris Thorman 9th. Linda McMurphy in 10th. Jacob Beasley in 11th. Jordy Fike in 12th. Mike Taylor in 13th. Derek Holland in 14th. Greg Mack, that's going to be your top 15. Edgar Sanchinelli, Greg Brockway, Michael Key, Patrick Prevenis, John D. Allen, and then we have a couple that did not qualify, which is Roger Gregory and Elvis Rankin in the race marshal, obviously starting out of that last grid position.
Yeah, of course, the race marshal will not be racing today. And we saw this earlier. You know you're having a bad day when you qualify behind the race marshal. This will be an extremely long pace lap around Road America before we commence 60 minutes of racing action today. But like we said, your battle for the lead continues, and we have a nice top 4 here between Aero Nom for Team Bushfink, Kevin Ford for Ricmotech Motorsports, and then on that second row at the rolling start will be Robert Hartley making his return, and he was out of action last time out at Mosport, and he's racing for Madhouse Racing. Mike Dam in the 4th position for Crypto-G Orange Racing. Now, these 4 drivers up ahead, Tyler, as I said, they're essentially your lead group, and if you can maintain the slipstream and into the draft here at Road America, anything can happen. You may not, despite being 3/10 faster than another driver, qualifying is nothing when it comes to the race.
Yeah, qualifying is definitely absolutely nothing whenever it comes to the race, especially in this series, being that these drivers, even if they qualify several tenths off each other, they'll still be right on each other come the end of the race. So it's definitely going to be interesting. We know Aero Nom can pull out some amazing strategies in these races, so it's definitely going to be a difficult one to beat him. But if Kevin Ford or Robert Hartley can get out into the lead, they may have a shot at him towards the end of the race.
And looking at your MX-5s, as you said, DJ Alessandrini starting from the first position, but for your championship, Travis Schwenke has not qualified well. So whether or not he's struggling at this racetrack or just hasn't practiced enough is another question in itself. As I said, as we now ride on board with Schwenke himself to begin this race, you look at the championship and John Allen, Eric Violet. Is John Allen? I don't see him on the list today, so he is not participating in today's event. So that just leaves Eric Violet starting from the 5th position to claim as many points as he can to climb himself up into the championship lead.
Yeah, John Allen actually is starting. He's starting back in 11th, though. So that is crucial. So he's starting way down the grid. He actually didn't even set a time in qualifying, I don't believe. So that's an interesting one.
Excuse me, yeah, I did miss that. So he's all the way down the order, which is why I had no idea John Allen was even racing today. It's that bizarre. But he starting from 11th in class, 20th overall for your MX-5s. So he's got 19 MX-5s up ahead of him, which makes it sound even worse.
Yeah, definitely makes it sound even worse for him. I mean, he's got a long way to go when it comes to moving his way through the grid. And we know it is easy to do in Road America. Don't get me wrong. It's definitely one of the more easy tracks to get by people. But if you don't have teammates down there to work with you, then it's going to be very, very, very difficult because he's going to have to fight and work with drivers that he necessarily hasn't been working with before this season. So it's going to be interesting if he's actually able to move himself up with a quickness or if he's going to be pretty much fighting in that midfield all night.
As we watch the spectacular off-track part of Road America right now, this track is extremely long, and as we said, 48 minutes of elevation change, so we've lost Aeronom behind the shot. Are they heading through the Kettle Bottoms now? Are they towards Canada Corner, I think? I'm just having a guess.
Yes. They are entering into Canada Corner right now.
There they are, the camera's panning. We're going to find out, Tyler, in just a few seconds' time. The Aeronom's driven through a black hole. He's about to look back into our pictures. But he will begin the race shortly from pole position. And like I said, Tyler, 60 minutes of racing action. It's going to be ever critical to avoid those incident points. And I think today at Road America, it does invite a lot of battling, a lot of racecraft opportunities. So it's going to be more the car contact than the off tracks, as Aeronom is ready to commence action here today for 60 minutes of racing.
Let's ride on board with him now, and there he goes. Green flag is in the air, and Aeronom is going to lead him down into turn number 1. Kevin Ford, though, with the nice jump. He's actually going to pull just a little bit ahead of Nam, but Nam is going to have the inside heading down into turn number 1, and I think Aeronom may just be able to get this one done, and I think he will. They're still going to be side by side, though. That just shows. Look at how easy it was for Kevin Ford to hold it around the outside there of Aeronom. So if he can continue to do that down into turn 3, yes, he does. So he's already got himself into the lead. So Kevin Ford with a great start.
So here are your MX-5s, and they commence the race. And DJ Alessandrini from pole position is under attack right now from the drivers behind. David Payton's very close. Still 2x2 heading into the first corner. We saw this with your Mustangs. It was extremely clean. One driver switching onto the brakes in the braking zone, and that is your start for the MX-5s. Jonathan White down the back of the pack, also trying to make up a couple of positions. Back to your Mustangs here as they head towards turn 6 for the first time. They have a difficult left-hander, and here they cycle through. Here's Brandon Whitworth for D2D Esports, now into your 7th position.
And then here is the draft fest of these MX-5s. Just checking in pretty much everywhere we can here on the first lap or so. And these MX-5s are really sorting it out here. We're seeing them. They're actually keeping pretty much in line right now. But it looks like David Payton, he's going to look down the inside of DJ Alessandrini. Not going to make the move, though. He will stick behind. And he's got Clifford Eben right there to push him. And there's a lot of D2D Esports cars in this MX5 field. And there goes David Payton down the inside of DJ Alessandrini. Alessandrini, though, is going to hang it around the outside. He is going to have the inside for the next corner. It's easy to get done whenever you're on the inside. Eben, though, looking to make a move and possibly slot himself even up into the lead. No, he's going to just try and slot himself into second, but he is going to settle for third as Alessandrini. That's a slide if I've ever seen one.
Here they go through the carousel. Alessandrini's got to be careful here. David Payton is trying to attack for that first position, but Alessandrini, after that brilliant victory at Belle Isle, is now on a pursuit to hopefully leading this first lap and gaining an extra bonus point.
Yeah, so that would give him an extra bonus point. Those bonus points can be ever crucial whenever it comes to winning the championship. We've seen drivers win it by 1 or maybe 2 points. Well, that's 1 bonus point or 2 bonus points across the season. You don't even have to finish a position higher. Just get 1 more bonus point. Those are very, very crucial when it comes to the championship fight. So Kevin Ford is your leader in the Mustang class. Mike Dam is going to be in second. Aaron Naum in third. Robert Hartley and Tyler Schiffel. That's going to be your top 5. So those 5 actually, very, very close. Not much time separating them. Only 1.8 seconds separating them to your leaders. Alessandrini across the line. He will lead the first lap in the MX5 field. David Payton, is going to try and go around the outside through turn number 1. And David Payton, he's going to have a really hard time doing that if he wants to get himself up into the lead down into turn 2. They're also 2x2 behind Eben on the outside. List under the attack right now. So List attacking on Eben, a little bit of contact there. And List is going to slot himself up into the 3rd spot. Alessandrini, though, is going to hang on to the lead crucially. So DJ Alessandrini will lead for another lap. And that is David Payton now. Let's ride on board with him. He's going to try and go down the inside of Alessandrini and try and get himself up into the lead. He's got a couple teammates behind him ready to go with him, I'm sure. So, and that is also Eric Violet making the move. So Eric Violet now moves himself up into 4th spot. So that's D2D Esports now in 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. So that is going to give them some good power whenever it comes to the draft on these next few straightaways, being that they are in a line and able to just pull away from the rest of the drivers. It does help if you do have some teammates to work with, especially when you've got 3 cars able to push by and you don't have any help when you're the driver up front. It makes it very, very difficult to defend from those 3 drivers behind. Kevin Ford leads in your Mustang class. Mike Dam is in 2nd. Not too much changes going on up here. They're pretty much staying as they were. Kevin Ford with a great, great start. Is able to really pull away. And now is leading over Mike Dam. Aaron Naum has been slotted down into 3rd spot. So Mike Dam has also moved himself up another position off his starting spot. He's moved up 2 spots. Aaron Naum's dropped down 3. Robert Hartley has also moved down a spot off the start. Most everyone, though, staying in line. And now, this is the battle in the MX5 class that we're going to have to be watching here. Alessandrini, he's going to defend to the inside. David Payton, is going to go to the outside. Jim List and Eric Violet, they're coming fast behind. So watch and see if they can possibly make a move with their teammate. But they're going to be right up behind Alessandrini right now. So it doesn't look to be any team orders in the D2D Esports clan. So they all seem to be pretty much still fighting out. Jim List now looking to move himself up into 2nd place and take his shot at Alessandrini up in the lead. So far he's done a great job to defend from all these drivers, having a few of them that he has to defend from. And that is Eric Violet now moving up. So he's going to move himself up into third in class. And he's actually now, he almost made a look there on Jim List. And he's had a big slide on the exit. Travis Swanky is now going to go by him. And he's also going to lose spots to Clifford Evan, David Payton, Jonathan White, and Eric Violet now going to slot himself down at 8th spot. He's just ahead of his two other D2D Sports teammates, Bobby Childs, who's now looking down his inside. That's not an easy place to make the move. Chris Thorman as well, so Eric Violet losing a lot of spots very, very quickly there. Not too much that he really could have done differently. The second under Allison Drini, who started to pull away just a little bit here over Jim List. And that's someone off in the background. That is Bobby Childs. He's off into the wall. So Bobby Childs into the wall. That's going to end his night early. Let's check back in, though, on your GS class. Mike Dam is going to lead. Kevin Ford in second. Aero Nam in third. So those three, Mike Dam able to move himself up into the lead. Kevin Ford, he's dropped back to a starting position of second. But Aero Nam will drop into third spot. So Aero Nam seems pretty content running in third. Robert Hartley, the winner from Detroit, is going to slot himself up into fourth. Don't count him out at all in this race. If he can pull off a nice strategy, he can have a shot at the win here in those final closing stages. If he's just able to hang on to the draft of that front group. Same with Aero Nam. Both of those drivers definitely able to do that.
Apologies, Tyler. I'm back in action after the tech issues. So you may have noticed earlier I was not commentating on what you were seeing on screen, and I've sorted those issues out. So been keeping my eye on the race action, and as I said, Tyler, the top four in the GS class, look at them. They're scrambled down in different positions now through the order, but it's as I expected, a top four fight for P1.
Yeah, definitely a top four fight for P1 in the GS class and the ST class. There's the top six are pretty close. Then it drops off 1 second and 2 seconds, but still really, really close all the way through the field. As you just seen, Bobby Childs had a big hit through the kink just a few moments ago, and that puts him out of the race. He's actually out of the pit lane now, but he's going to be way down the order now.
Certainly. And it's Jim List, having a look at him in your MX-5s. He's so close right now to the rear end of DJ Alessandrini. Remember what happened last time at Mosport with Alessandrini? We thought he was going to ridiculously one-stop that event, and then he proved us wrong by taking an early second stop. I want to see if he does anything different with strategy today, whether he goes longer than the rest of this bunch.
It will be interesting to see if he is able to stretch that out a little bit longer. Obviously, this is an easy one-stop for these drivers, so it's not going to be too big a strategy. But these drivers still seem to figure out some sort of way to play the strategy game. And if you can get it right, you can gain yourself a lot of time. Obviously, in Mosport, Allison Drini was quite a ways down the order, so it just wasn't quite where he was in a good spot to make major strategy calls. If he was going to, it would have obviously benefited him incredibly. But he really wasn't up in the front like he has been today, obviously leading the field now, and he's led the field every single lap of this race so far, and we're currently 10 minutes in.
Look at David Payton behind Travis Schwenke. Schwenke, as I said, I was keeping an eye on this battle while I was sorting out the tech issues, and Schwenke's reeled his way up the order. And now they're 2 by 2 for the lead here. Your MX-5 class. Have a look at Jim List going for the lead on DJ Alessandrini. Jim List on the outside line. Payton on the outside line. It's Alessandrini and Schwenke on the inside. Travis now able to reclaim the racing line and forcing Payton to try and find a gap anywhere on the racetrack. Maybe up the inside of turn 3, but that's not possible for David Payton. And this is a nice draft fest, isn't it? as your leaders still go 2 by 2. Alessandrini not going to give up the battle for P1. And Jim List wants that first position instantly and those bonus points.
Yeah, Jim List not giving it up here. He's been trying it for several laps now, but hasn't been able to make it stick. And I don't know if he's going to be able to. He may have a chance here out of turn 5 and then under the Corvette bridge, but he's just going to have to slot back in line. So that is Alessandrini doing a beautiful job to defend there. David Payton as well. He's looking down the inside of Travis Swanky. Swanky, though, is going to be able to hold him off. Eben now down the inside of Payton, and Eben's going to get the move done. So that's a difficult place to make a move. I've done it in real life. It's definitely not the hardest move to make, and it is doable. But another driver to keep an eye out on, John Allen. He's already up 12 spots and up to 23rd place and up to 8th place in class. So he is on an absolute charge forward.
He's only a few seconds behind this leading group. So John Allen now, one of your championship leaders, is having a good event so far at Road America. And there's still plenty of time remaining, just under 50 minutes. It's nice to see your two Asprey Motorsports car of Schwenke and Eben working together right now. And that's exactly what they need to do at this stage of the race. Try and reel in DJ Alessandrini and Jim List as they head through Canada Corner yet another time. For Mustangs, take a look back at your lead battle. Those four. Mike Dam still in that first position. This is the worst start possible right now for Aero Nom, I'd say, Tyler, unless he wants to save fuel from that double slipstream.
Yeah, and that's totally possible. Aero Nom's just able to sit in the slipstream and save a bunch of fuel. Then that could be the best spot to be in. We've obviously seen in the past, Aero Nom is totally content most of the time with running in that third spot. So I wouldn't be surprised if he's content with just sitting there and running in third today and not really worried about the two drivers ahead of him, because I think he knows that if he can save the fuel and go out a little bit longer, then he should be able to out-strategy both of them. We've seen Aero Nom's ability to out-strategy people, and as well as his execution to out-strategy people. So he's definitely got a good spot right now, being in third and able just to benefit from the slipstream and save some fuel, and possibly be able to go a little bit longer in the race and gain that crucial track position.
Who's that in front right now? Is that a lapped car ahead? Roger Gregory.
That is a lapped car.
I got so confused there. I was like, what's going on? Roger Gregory is going to have to get out of the way for the leaders right now, and he's having an awful final corner. And stay to the left, Roger. Don't get in the way. And he doesn't. So that's you kids watching out there. That's how you get it done if you're going to be lapped. Just trying not to impede your leaders too much, and just let them make their way around you on the straight. You're a big fan of lap cars getting out of the way, or would you rather the leaders make their way around the lap car? I'd rather the first one.
See, if I'm a driver, I would definitely prefer for the lap car to get out of the way. It also kind of depends on the scenario, in my opinion. I think that if the lap car can get out of the way, I believe that they should. But if it's kind of one of those things where the lap car is in a fight or something like that, I do believe that the leaders should just have to get by the lapped car. So it just kind of depends on the scenario for me. If I'm the one leading and I'm coming up on a lap car, I would definitely like them to get out of the way. So we jump back to this MX-5 battle. Jim List is all over the back of Alessandrini, and he's looking down the inside into Canada Corner. I think he may just have it done this time, but Alessandrini, they touch doors. Now Alessandrini is way wide. Now they're going to be 3 wide into the next left-hander. They're going to think better of that one. And Travis Swanky now is going to try to slip past Jim List. I don't think that's going to be able to work, so Swanky is going to have to slot into third place. But Eben is now up into fourth, so he's able to possibly work with his teammate to get by Jim List and take a shot at DJ Alessandrini, who has been really, really difficult to get by tonight for these drivers.
And this is going to be tough for Schwenke because he has no slipstream here on the main stretch. And then look at Alessandrini. Tries to help Schwenke here with the draft. But I don't think that's the right thing to do right now for Alessandrini, because that could give Schwenke the lead around the outside. And what was he thinking there? unless he's got some strategy up his sleeve that we're not aware of, I would have stayed up the inside and tried to aid Jim List. Right now, List should be able to reclaim the second position. Almost a slight bit of contact between the Asprey Motorsports car and Jim List in that D2D Esports car, now on the run to turn 5. And the hurry downs yet another time on the Marine Sweep, excuse me, not the hurry downs, what am I saying? Clifford Eben also close behind. This is going to be a braking battle, Tyler, heading into that 5th corner.
Yeah, it's pretty much who's gonna be able to break the latest. Travis Swanky's down the inside. He's actually gonna back out of that move. So he's not able to move up into second position. Jonathan White, another driver, moving his way up a little bit. David Payton, he had a little bit of an issues there, and as well as Eric Violet. They are starting to work their way back into this, and another driver working his way into this. That's John Allen. He's moving his way up. He's only 8/10 behind that lead group right now, and he's got 4 drivers behind him. That's Jacob Beasley, Chris Thorman, and Lyndall McMurphy. It drops off about 4 seconds back to Derek Holland, but that group of 4 is now starting to catch that lead group of 7. So this battle could go from 7 to 11 cars here for the lead.
This is what MX5 is all about at Road America. And while that's all taking place, look at the lead for your Mustangs. Kevin Ford trying to make a move around the outside, and Aeronom's going to capitalize on that. Door was open, and your championship leader is through up the inside. This is the ever difficult turn 6. The rear end just wants to slide away into the barriers on the outside. It's just about controlling that using pure talent. And now they begin to form up again. So no position changes between your Mustangs and Robert Hartley. Give him a bag of popcorn, Tyler. He's enjoying this scrap.
Yeah, he is definitely enjoying that one. As we look back here at the battle for the MX-5s, this is definitely the best battle that we've got on the racetrack. The Mustangs have a good front battle, but this battle is great. Jim List has taken over the lead, and Allison Drini is now trying the outside. He's going to have help from Travis Swanky. So Swanky is pushing Allison Drini now down the front straightaway and around Jim List. Jim List now is going to be in between the two, and Travis Swanky is now ahead of Jim List. But Jim List and Travis Swanky, they go side by side, and that is also going to be Allison Drini going side by side as well. So Jim List sending it down the inside into turn 1, trying everything that he can. But now he's going to be the one hung out to dry as they head down into turn 3. If Travis Swanky can just get it good through there, he cannot, though. So Jim List able to cleanly sweep around the outside and keep that second position. But Allison Drini back up into the lead.
That 4th car in this group is, well, that blue MX-5 is the Delta Racing car of Jonathan White. We know how quick Jonathan White is, and he's entered this series, and never even warmed up. He's been straight into it, and he's trying to, I mean, he had so much potential there under braking. I thought he just had Schwenke up ahead like a little roadblock, and I think Jonathan White looks quickest out of this bunch right now. I mean, he's reeled in the group so far quite rapidly, and he looks quick for the moment. But like you said, John Allen is only a couple of seconds away from the lead, and this could not be any better for John Allen right now after starting down the rear end of the order.
You know, just keeping an eye there on Jonathan White's times. It was actually faster than all of his competitors ahead of him by quite a margin. So he is on the move for sure. He's definitely going to be the one capitalizing. John Allen, though, he's had an amazing recovery so far, it has to be said. After starting pretty much at the complete rear of the field in your ST class, he's now up in that lead fight, or right about to it. So he's done a great job to recover, and he's done it quickly, only 20 minutes into this 60-minute event.
Yep, and there's still plenty of time remaining as well, so still 40 minutes left, or just under. And doesn't look like any of these cars will be separated. Your Mustangs just go past one of the stricken MX-5s of Patrick Prevenas, who's being lapped by your leaders. Like I predicted, top 4 breaks away from Tyler Shiflett, who's all on his own. May have to pit early because he's definitely not doing any fuel saving, I don't think, with it no draft capable. But now, Tyler, as we expect these drivers to drive another possibly another 10 laps before they have to pit. The strategy in the pit phase is what's going to separate these groups. I still think we're going to get some good action for the next 15, 20 minutes at least. And if anybody needs to pit this early on to avoid the traffic, they're going to lose so much time because they lose the draft.
Yeah, and the draft at Road America is worth so much this year. Whenever we went there just a few weeks ago for the Global MX5 Cup race, I think the draft was worth something like 2.5 seconds around that circuit. That's just insane. By not being in the draft to being in the draft. And yeah, if you can just get that perfect draft, and if you're out there with someone that you can really work with, then you can really gain a lot of time. But if you're out there, like you said, with no one, then you're going to lose a lot.
And the lead for MX5s yet again is in a nice battle here. Will Jim List finally take that lead advantage? No! He was oscillating on the apex of turn 5, and that's cost him a good exit, and it's cost him some time. Twenke in the 3rd position, unable to capitalize. White in 4th. Evan, Peyton, Allen, Eric Violet also in the battle. Jacob Beasley is also in this battle for the lead. So is Thorman. There is no clear air up until Derek Holland, who is in P12 for your MX5 class, which is incredible right now to see. It's definitely the closest racing action I've seen since I began covering this series. As now, look at your Mustangs trying to maneuver their way past a couple of MX5s. This is going to get hair-raising. Yeah,
this is some of the most difficult part of being in the faster classes.
Hartley's taken out.
Hartley gets spun. Hartley spun around. I don't know who he got spun around by. I think that was Edgar Sancinelli. So Edgar Sancinelli loses the car on the exit and into the side of Hartley. Let's get a replay of that one.
Oh, and what you'll see here is Sancinelli just go wide at the outside of turn 6, Tyler. And he already had damage to that MX5, as you can see. So he's been involved in some earlier incidents. But race control will be looking at that because an ever-furious Robert Hartley. Oh, he's got suspension damage too, Robert Hartley. He's going to be out of the event.
Yeah, Robert Hartley, from what I can see, he's out of the event. So, wow, that was a big hit. Just to get another view of it for you. Jump back to the action, though. For your lead battle here. Travis Schlenke trying to make it work all by himself around the outside. They're going to be 3 wide down into turn 1.
Oh, bump draft there from the rear end by Jonathan White. He's sick of staying in P4 in this scrap. Still 3 wide through the apex of turn 1. I've never seen that at Road America ever. And they will, I think they're still 3 wide now. They start to form up as they head through turn 3 on the racetrack. And look at this scrap continue right now. Jim List not going to give up. Alessandrini finally giving up the lead. And they do not want to release Travis Schwenke up ahead. That's the problem right now. Now, Jonathan White, Tyler, where's he going to go? He can't split the middle. Or can he?
I don't think he's going to. I think he's going to push Alessandrini, try to push him around Jim List, but that's just not going to work. Just not going to be good enough. Alessandrini will clear him, but Jonathan White will not. And White's actually going to lose a lot of time. He's going to be way off the circuit, possibly even losing a position there to, I believe that was Clifford Eben. Yes, he does. So he did not work out the way he planned for it to. Yeah, these guys, 3 wide. That's incredible.
All right, look at Robert Hartley in the pit lane. He can't control that Mustang at all. He's trying to find his pit stall, and that car's done. Fortunately for Robert Hartley, he returns, and a lapped car getting in the way again, and you can see why I'm just not a fan of traffic and lapped cars. Through no fault of his own, Robert Hartley is out of this event. Your highest rating driver in the field. That's a poorly constructed sentence there, but you get what I mean. And Hartley, this is going to be a long, long service time for sure here. And I mean, we've all been in this situation, haven't we? And it's not going too well. By the way, Kevin Ford, technical issues. Kevin Ford's out of the event as well from P2.
So Kevin Ford, more technical issues. He's out of the serve. So Kevin Ford, even more technical issues. We've seen it happen last week, and he's happened again. So 2 weeks in a row, Kevin Ford has technical issues. That's unfortunate.
Wow. He'll be kicking and screaming for sure. And I'm speechless right now. The Mustang class has opened up, and it's going to be another battle between Mike Dam and Aeronom. Mike Dam's run wide through Canada corner, and now Aeronom has reeled in Canadian up ahead. Mike Dam for Crypto-G Orange Racing really sustain the lead after this final corner. Will Aeronom have the run out of this final corner in the draft? He's a little bit far back, Tyler. And look at this, Aeronom straight into the pit lane, a strategy adjustment.
Yeah, we were just watching that MX-5 battle as well. This battle's definitely not letting up. These drivers are going 3 wide through turn 1. Now, I haven't even seen that in real life, and these drivers are trying that in the sim. And just to give you a little bit of concept there, in the sim, there's almost zero runoff area. In turn 1, we have a very nice big concrete paved patch in real life that we use every last pretty much inch of. And these drivers are somehow figuring out how to go 3 wide through there with zero runoff. That's impressive.
Look at this right now. Alessandrini is quite erratic on the exit. He's just trying to fight for traction in that car. We're expecting these drivers to take 2 or more tires, but definitely take tires at their pit stall. Now, if someone elects not to take tires, Tyler, I don't know if that's a good option, because I would just take tires and do anything I can just to remain in the draft right now. That's the critical aspect to being quick around this circuit.
And I'm just checking in on the track temperature. Yeah, being that it is 40 degrees Celsius, I think it'd be near impossible to not take tires and to be able to get away with it, as we see quite a bit of drivers actually in the pit lane. Sorry about that, not calling that out. That's Jennifer McDonald, Matthew Cantila, and Steve Daniel. So a lot of them in the pit lane. That's kind of early stops, though. Being 28 minutes into this race, they're kind of going earlier stop to later stop, and I think in the MX-5 it's pretty much going to be whatever the trend is. Whatever the most drivers do is when everyone's going to pit. Whenever they all dive into the pit lane is when the rest will dive in as well.
Well, none of these MX-5 drivers will want to enter the pit lane until the absolute last minute. Some news on Kevin Ford. He's back out on the racetrack after sorting out his technical troubles, and he's able to rejoin the event. So lucky for him, that's all panned out perfectly, although he is now all the way down the rear end of your GS class for your Mustangs. Hartley also back into the event after repairs to that car, very quick repairs, but he's also down the rear end of the order. Here is your lead for the MX-5s, still continuing. No drivers entering the pit lane. And yet again, Schwenke deciding to bump draft Alessandrini heading into turn 1. He's going to be careful. He doesn't have that symmetrical line up ahead. Look at them all into formation right now. The inside goes that 55 of Clifford Eben, and a bit of contact. Clifford Eben's going to spin around, and he's going to lose it through the inside of the apex of turn 1. And unfortunately for Clifford Eben, a bit out of control, and he's going to cycle his way down to the rear end of this pack.
Yeah, and John Allen, actually, he dove into the pit lane this time, as well as Elvis Rankin. So they dove into the pit lane this time, so they're trying the early pit stop. I think that's going to be hurting John Allen there, being the fact that he is going to be so far down the grid order that he's going to have 0 track position and no draft. So these drivers drafting, keep in mind, even if it is 2.5 seconds, that's going to be 2.5 seconds per lap that he doesn't have the draft. So even if he's only out there for just 2 laps, that's 5 seconds. It's quite difficult to catch 5 seconds, especially at a track like Road America.
Yeah, it certainly is. It's so tough. And there's still half an hour left in this race. And apologies, I didn't see John Allen enter the pit lane there. So he's definitely confirmed as a driver who is obviously entered the pit lane. Now that pit entry, though, Tyler, is a difficult one. I've seen drivers... I've struggled through there in the past. I've seen other drivers have some trouble. You know, it's so easy to lose it in the braking zone. Uphill braking zone, and there's a bump right as you begin to hit the brakes, which could cost you a lot of time.
Yeah, it's definitely a very, very difficult pit entry. I can say from experience, it is kind of easy to speed into the pits. You do have to be very, very careful whenever you go at the top there, because it seems as if you can slow the car down so quickly. But the cone comes up very, very quickly as well whenever you're heading up the hill at 100 miles an hour. So if you're not careful, then it can easily cost you a lot of time. These MX-5s, now they get to deal with traffic of their own class. That is in the form of Edgar Sancinelli, who will get out of the way of the front 4. And then he will hopefully get out of the way of the next few drivers as well. He will. So he's staying semi off the racing line for those drivers and allowing them to battle. The battle has started to kind of spread out just a little bit, and that's Schwenke into the pit lane.
That was a late dive by Travis Schwenke. He's very close to speeding. He nailed that perfectly. I got too excited there. Travis Schwenke now to the pit lane, and he decides to give up that battle for P1. And the important part is now, where will he feed out? Mike Dam, your leader for your Mustangs, also into the pit lane. This is critical right now because we have to look for Aero Nom Tyler, who has just completed his out lap. He's on his second lap out of the pits, and he may reclaim race lead after having pole position to begin this race.
So let's see where Aero Nom cycles out. Let's actually ride on board with him in the final few corners of the racetrack. Just see how the drivers see it from the cockpit. As he works his way now out of the final corner. So easy to lose the rear end in that corner as it's such a fast, high-speed corner. Then down onto the second longest straightaway on the racetrack. And down into the very, very abrasive turn number 1. And there's Mike Dam in the pit lane. He's just now leaving. Aero Nom's going to easily take the lead.
That's not even close. Aero Nom straight into the lead advantage. Who can stop this guy? If anyone's going to beat him, it might be himself. There's still 27 minutes remaining in this race. And it looks like Mike Dam has his work cut out for him yet again. He almost caught driver of Aero Nom last round at Mosport. Now, the important thing is he's got fresher rubber for the entirety of this event, Tyler, which is oh so important. 2 laps fresher rubber for every single lap for these next 26.5 minutes. So this round at Road America is a lot easier to overtake compared to Mosport. Let's not count out Mike Dam for the moment.
No, definitely not. Definitely should not be counting on Mike Dam this early on. We're only 33 minutes in the event, only just over the halfway point. And you got to keep in mind, too, Mike Dam, it possibly took 4 tires instead of 2. And that would kind of explain why Aero Nom is so far ahead of him. If he did take 2 more tires, that would be about what the gap is right now. So if Mike Dam did take those 2 more tires, that could also possibly catch that gap back up quickly.
We'll look at gaps and lap times soon enough, but 4.5 seconds is the gap between Mike Dam and Aero Nom. Now down... let me tell you right now, the relative gap is almost even between Nom and Dam. So, as I said, we'll keep you posted on that. Boy, this race is going to get so exciting towards the finish. Let's go, Mike Dam. Drill in the championship leader. You know, I love Aero Nom. I love everything he's done this year, but it'd be nice to see someone take the fight to him for once. As Mike Dam gets squirrely into the braking zone of Canada corner, he's got a lot of rear bias to that car.
Yeah, it does get a bit squirrely under braking, and that's kind of not normal for those MX-5s to be squirrely under braking, as they are pretty much a very fixed setup on those cars. It's not really too much that you can do. Maybe shock settings that you could change to make it a little bit more squirrely or more stable under braking, but yeah, that was very, very unstable for him, it looked like.
See, this is what I like to see. Mike Dam's making his way past Robert Hartley. And, you know, you never see leaders being lapped, but Robert Hartley is more than experienced of a driver. And he just knows to get out of the way, not trouble the leaders. And that's something that when you're a newcomer to sim racing, being lapped by leaders, it's just a straight out of the way and not impede the lead battles. Now, some news from race control. Jim List in your MX-5s has been black flagged. And this may have something to do with the incident with Clifford Eben. So that is a very controversial penalty, and that occurred at turn number 1. It was under investigation, and Jim List has been called at fault for that incident.
See, now let me try to get a replay of that incident. Does it say black flagged, or is there more details on the incident?
So hopefully race control and the race marshals provide more details, as I'm watching Jim List here go for the lead your MX-5s, and surely DJ Alessandrini also has that information that Jim List has the black flag. So let's wait and see, Tyler, to see if there's anything that any clarification on what Jim List or what penalty he has to serve.
I'm just quickly trying to look back and try to find the incident between the two of them. So far, I have not been able to find the incident, but whenever I do find it, I will jump that replay up for you.
And while you're doing that, three MX-5s in the pit lane.
So your 3 leaders jump into the pit lane. Eric Violet now will take over the lead. David Payton will slot up into second, and Jacob Beasley up into third. Let's keep an eye on where Travis Schwenke comes out. It's right on board with him. That Ashbury Motorsports MX-5.
He's right behind Mike Dam and a Mustang up ahead. So these are 2 drivers hunting for your lead. Schwenke may have the lead right now here, Tyler. I wouldn't count it out. Although he'll have slightly more worn tires for the entirety of this 60-minute event here at Road America for round 7. Schwenke now across the main stretch. We are looking. Those drivers of Alessandrini, they're still in the pit lane. Jim List still in the pit lane as well. Jonathan White, excuse me. Jim List. Jim List is at turn 3. And Jonathan White's just about on the exit. And let me tell you one thing. Travis Schwenke screams past into turn 1 and takes your overall effective lead.
And he takes it by a long shot, too, over 2 seconds. So, nice job by him. And even John Allen slots his way up into the top 3. So look at that. The 2 drivers that went out on a limb with strategy were actually able to benefit from it. They both were kind of in the middle of that train, and then now they're going to the front of it. That's impressive strategies.
That certainly is. We'll just wait until the pit stop phase is over to see where the rest of the field is spread out. By the way, gap between Aeronom and Mike Dam. Have a guess? It's 3.1 seconds. So 1 second gained in the past 2 laps for Mike Dam. And he is etching closer and closer to Aeronom up ahead. We'll keep an eye on this battle as we take a quick commercial break. You're watching the Extreme Motorsports Ricmotech Sports Car Series here on Apex Racing TV. Don't leave us.
Are you a fan of the Ricmotech Sports Car Series? Now is your chance to show off your favorite sim racing series by visiting our online store. With clothing and apparel for women and men in all sizes, merchandise and gift items like coffee mugs, laptop skins, mouse pads, and many more items to display your passion for sports car sim racing. Visit us today at ExtremeMotorsports99.com and click on the online store button. Thank you for watching and supporting the Ricmotech Sports Car Series.
welcome back to another round from Road America for your Extreme Motorsports Ricmotech Sports Car Series. And the pit stop phase is just about over. We're watching your lead battle for the MX-5s between Schwenke, Eric Violet behind, DJ Alessandrini. And look at the traffic here, Tyler, we have right now as your MX-5s tried to lap this bunch. Oh, sorry, as your Mustangs tried to lap the MX-5s.
Yep, and that is Kevin Ford, actually. No, it's not, actually. I'm sorry about that. I can't quite tell who that is in the middle of that. It's Tyler Shiflett trying to get by, as well as Brandon Whitworth is in the middle of that one, and Robert Hartley. So they are all three in that one. Sorry about that one. Just couldn't quite figure out exactly who those two were. But your top two in the MX-5s, they've started to pull away. They got 2.4 seconds over DJ Alessandrini, who is not slow by any stretch. He's actually closed up quite a bit on them, even just in the last few corners. Closed up half a second there in just about 3 corners time. So he's definitely not slow, and he's starting to close up on that front group.
Yep, that's going to be most important. Remember, he did take his tires a little later than Schwenke. I'd rather that, to be honest with you, because you want the fresher rubber in this hot weather. It's up to about over 40 degrees track temp. And Kevin Ford even messaged us before the race saying he was quite excited for this event. And unfortunately, he's had some technical issues. But the drivers love this challenge in this weather. But you've got to nail it in terms of tires. As we see one MX-5 in the background through the exit of turn 5 get quite tail happy. We're watching Schwenke, your leader, 2 tenths ahead of Violet. And look at the gap at the top left. Don't forget here, Tyler, between Aeronom and Mike Dam. 3.5 seconds. Aeronom's trying to step up the pace now and trying to break away from the ever hunting. And Nom is becoming the ever hunted as Mike Dam tries to reel him in.
So there we go, gaps on your screen from lap 14 to lap 17. It's only gone down 1/10. So that's not too bad. It's really, really close right now, and it's actually gone back up a bit. So Aeronom is starting to actually pull away just a bit from Mike Dam. So that is your time delta for those two drivers. We'll keep an eye on that one as well. We'll look at that one in another 4 laps time and see how that is affected. Obviously, that will be quite a bit into the race, as there is still as they're running 2 minutes and 20 seconds, and there's only 15 minutes left in this race. So we should see a whole lot of laps actually left to go in this race, being that it is only 60 minutes.
Yeah, still plenty of time remaining, plenty of laps remaining. Here is your pole sitter from the MX-5s, DJ Alessandrini, trying to hunt this man, Travis Schwenke, in the Asbury Motorsports car. Schwenke has driven a splendid season. So has Violet. So has Alessandrini. The talent on display here in your MX-5 has been phenomenal this campaign in 2019 for the Road Series. Now, as one Mustang makes their way through, Violet looking to the inside and possibly trying to claim the lead here. And look at that, gets a bonus draft from the MX-5, from the Mustang.
Yeah, and that's really, really helped him out there. The Mustang is obviously much bigger car, and he's actually going to be also helped out by the other MX-5, but I actually can't quite tell who that is there. I believe that was the number 62 of Greg Brockway. So he was definitely helped out a lot there by 2 separate cars. Eric Violet now up into the lead for D2D Esports. So D2D Esports take over the lead. But don't count out this man right here. We're going to go ahead and go on board with DJ Alessandrini, 1.4 seconds back. Keep in mind, he was 2 seconds back just a lap ago, and he's caught up, even though those two are drafting up front.
Look at him in the braking zone. Going to sweep through. Oh, look at that MX-5 up ahead. That's Eric Violet getting quite tail happy. And the leaders go alongside each other heading into turn 6. Oh, Violet had to unwind the steering. There was no way through. There's only one racing line, and they both wanted it. And now here is DJ Alessandrini. Is he going to go for the left, for the right? Let's have a look. And he's going to remain behind. Doesn't do anything that I suggested.
Yeah, and he gets tail happy as well, so you can see it's so easy whenever you're so close in a battle to get a little bit tail happy, and that tail happiness can actually cause you a lot of issues if you do end up going for a quick little spin. But Jonathan White, he's down in 4th place, and John Allen after a nice recovery up 16 spots of his starting position, up into 5th place in class. That is quite incredible, in my opinion, that he's able to move up that much. He does have a very quick driver, David Payton, behind him, though, so definitely not going to be easy to hold on to that top 5. And then Chris Thorne is a further 0.6 of a second back. Let's jump back to this league battle for up 3 here. Travis Schwenke, Eric Violet, and DJ Alessandrini. They all are your 3 leaders here. They are going to get by Edgar Sancinelli there, so Sancinelli is going to easily just let them by, and they are going to be able to resume on their battle. But Alessandrini, he's super, super quick, so if he can just play these moves right, and he can get onto the lead, and those 2 start battling, he actually has a chance to pull away here.
This is like a game of Snake on an old phone from like the early 2000s, because once you attach to the draft, Snake will become longer. And right now we're seeing a top 3 that I don't think will separate towards the end of this event. Is Schwenke going to make this 3 wide? Oh, come on, mate. Oh, goodness. Schwenke now on the outside is down to 3rd, and Alessandrini up the inside reclaims the lead. That's 2 positions into 1 corner. What a fight. What a pass from Alessandrini.
Yeah, so he makes up 2 spots into turn 1. Those drivers, again, 3 wide on the entry. I mean, 3 wide is, and especially down into there, it looks very wide, but it's actually quite tight whenever you're racing there. And then whenever you're trying to fit 3 cars into a space that really 2.5 should fit into, it's not too easy to make that one work. But Alessandrini, though, he definitely has some pressure from Eric Violet behind. And all this battling, all it's doing here is letting Jonathan White catch up. Jonathan White, he has the slipstream of that GS car ahead of him. So if the GS car is just that little bit, just as fast as he is really through the corners, then he should be able to benefit massively down the straightaways by being in the draft of that Mustang. And then could possibly help him to get towed up to that front group.
Oh, the Mustang is going to catch them in the exit of the carousel as we watch John Allen in the 5th position now, under attack from David Payton. But no, the Mustang hasn't caught them. You can see in the background there as Alessandrini now heads through the latter stages of the lap. Here's the kink. The kink is so fun, isn't it? And surely you had a thrill of that when you were driving your MX-5 around here in the real world?
Oh yeah, definitely one of the most fun corners. It's one of the only corners in the entire country in the MX-5 where you're short shifting to 5th gear and sliding the car through it some of the time at 120 miles an hour and hoping that it sticks because you have an Armco that is 20 feet away from you. I will say one thing, that is something that I've never experienced before, and I don't think I will ever experience on any other track.
It is such a thrilling racetrack, isn't it? What would you compare this to a European track? Some people say Spa, but I don't know if Spa is the best example, to be honest with you, as we see the Mustangs trying to make their way past the leaders of your MX-5s, and this is going to get quite hair-raising.
Now, personally for me, I actually would think that this would be quite a good comparison to Spa, being that Spa has such long straightaways, and it does kind of have that corner where you've got to go through no name at Spa, and you've just got to have such commitment through the corner because the wall is right there, and if you make a mistake, you're going to hit the wall quite heavily. And it's one of those tracks where the draft is worth more than raw pace. A lot of times, if you can just kind of hang in the draft, even if you are half a second off, it'll make up for it. And I think that Spa is actually kind of one of those same circuits. So I actually do think that is not bad comparison. Trying to think of another track, possibly Monza would be another track that pops into my mind as a good comparison for this one. But yeah, there's still some great racetracks out in this world.
Yeah, and still some great racing going on as Jonathan White now makes this. I told you it's a game of Snake. He's now made this a train of 4. Jonathan White will be biting for the lead sometime soon as they head through the left-hander of turn 6. Very wide is, well, all 4 drivers there. I thought it was just DJ. Alessandrini now in the first position. We right on board with Jonathan White in the Delta Racing car, and that number 10. Again, under braking. Has to control the rear end, misses his turning point, turns in a little too early there. He'll get away with it. because this draft is going to be ever important. Now, that's your lead battle for the MX-5s. For your Mustangs, with just under 8 minutes remaining, Mike Dam is unable to reel in Aeronom up ahead. Aeronom has extended that gap to 5 seconds now. I just looked at it like 3 seconds ago. It said 4.5, so it just jumped 6/10 in like the past 3 seconds. I'm wondering if Mike Dam's made a mistake through the final corner.
It wouldn't surprise me. I'm not seeing anything that obviously was major enough to count it as a counter.
Oh,
but then one of the...
Sorry, Tyler, but then now the gap's back to 4.5, so there must have just been something with the timing screens.
I don't quite know, because on my end it is 5.2 seconds, so...
Oh, well, so switch back to your MX-5s, do that quickly, then look at the gap. Now it's 4.5. What's going on? With our eyes are deceiving us. I'm getting confused. Is it 4.5 for you?
Okay, so I don't quite know what's going on with the overlay portion. The overlay portion's reading 4.6, but my live timing screen's reading 5.3. So I'm not too sure what's going on with that one. We'll try to have to get that one sorted out for the next time, but that's a bit interesting. So disregard the 4.5 seconds, sorry.
And Alessandrini around the outside here for the lead, trying to reclaim first position. Violet behind is, well, that's a great move by Eric Violet. He deserves that. He earned that quite perfectly, but they're still alongside each other right now. 3 wide as one of the Mustangs, the number 37 there, makes their way past. That's Matthew Catala, Cross-Thread Engineering. He's going to get out of the way of this bunch. But again, I don't think this scrap is going to end for the next 6 minutes. This is going to go down to the final lap. Look how deep on the brakes is Alessandrini.
Yeah, nice job from him. Really, really deep on the brakes. And able to move himself back up in the lead. So that's crucial for him. As much, though, as you do want to lead here at Road America, going down to the last lap, that's the last place you want to be. You want to be in second or third here on the last lap, as that's going to be your prime spot. That's going to be the spot where you're just going to be able to easily slip by those drivers ahead if you are in that spot. And it's very, very difficult to defend when you are in second, or whenever you're in the lead. It's very easy to get by whenever you're in second.
Certainly. You know, funny story around Road America. This is back on another sim, not iRacing, but somebody took out the brake markers at turn 1 at the end of like a 30-minute event, and it was like a lapped car, and us top 3 went into turn 1 searching for the brake markers, and then by the time we reached the apex full throttle of turn 1, we all started smacking the brakes, and I was luckily the only driver who didn't hit the wall and ended up winning the event. The other 2, not so lucky, DNFs. That's a quick anecdote for you around Road America.
Oh, man, and that brings me to some stories that I've heard in the past of drivers at Road Atlanta, actually, removing the brake markers before a local event, and drivers came out the next day and completely blind to where the brake markers were. They moved them about 100 feet in deeper, so when everyone went into brake, everyone just locked tires down because they realized that they're in way too hot.
Yeah, geez, so that's, I feel their pain for sure, and just keeping you updated with less than 4 minutes remaining. That battle for your Mustangs is pretty much all but done and dusted. Aeronom's got one hand on the trophy. It's this battle in your MX-5s that is going down to the top 4. Alessandrini, Violet, Schwenke, White. It's a 4-horse race for the lead here, Tyler. I really don't know who to tip.
Another battle going on here. Clifford Eben getting by Lyndall McMurphy, so he's starting to move his way back forward after being spun around there by Jim List, and Jim List is way down the grid, or he's out actually. He's in a pit lane and he is out, so he must have had a total black flag there. I didn't think he was going to be that bad, but yeah, so he's completely out of the event. That's going to be a bad points day for him as Eric Violet, Travis Schwenke, and Alessandrini, they're going to go 3 wide down into turn 5. And it's going to be Eric Violet who's going to get the better run. But actually, it's going to be Alessandrini who's going to get the run up the hill. So Violet now is going to have the inside. Alessandrini, if he can hang it around here, is going to have the inside. Heading down into turn 7 and towards Harry Downs. And he is going to have that move, and he's going to be able to get it done as they head under or down to turn 8 before they head under the Sargento Bridge.
Couple of drivers in this field are looking to extend championship advantage ahead of John Allen, who is down the order in the 6th position. He's not in your lead battle. He's about 6 seconds off this little lead group right here. Another couple just vying for pride, vying for race victory. That's all they need. Lyndon McMurphy leads your open class, but for your pros, this is going to go down to the wire with just a couple of laps remaining. Alessandrini, I have to say, I may even tip him for the win here. He looks ever solid, ever robust in that first position.
He really, really does, and he just looks more comfortable than all these drivers. Eric Violet looks as if he's trying to get to the lead as Eric Violet dives down the inside for the lead. That's also an MX-5 off. Don't quite, that's Matthew Catilo. We'll get a replay of that at the end of this race. But he looks to be the most comfortable. Eric Violet, sorry, looks to be trying to get by because he needs to. He knows that he doesn't have the pace over Alessandrini. He knows that if he can get to the lead, possibly he can block him. But Alessandrini just looks the most comfortable out front right now. He just looks like he belongs out in the lead, leading this group of cars.
And look at this. Race is coming to a close. Oh, contact on the main stretch as Alessandrini and Violet get a bit too argy-bargy here for the lead advantage. That's how much they want it. That could have ended in heartbreak. One of those cars could have ended up in the concrete wall. Alessandrini on the final lap here for your MX-5s has lost the lead advantage. Aeronom will surely be completing this race and receiving the checkered flag soon. So where is Aeronom on the racetrack? I'm just trying to look. Is that him coming towards Canada Corner, I believe? There he is. Yes. So he will... I think there may be another lap to go here. So MX-5s may continue this battle. Look at Alessandrini now back into the lead.
Alessandrini, but the list is going to... Eric Violet, sorry, is going to have the... But Alessandrini is going to be able to go clean around the outside. And like you said, I think we're going to have another lap. So these MX-5s are going to basically, what I think, be coming down to 2 laps to go this time by. And that's Travis Schwenke looking for a move on Eric Violet. It's not going to happen, though. Schwenke's going to have to slot back in line. But crucially, that's given Alessandrini a 0.6 of a second buffer.
And crucially as well, do any of these drivers have enough fuel to win this race? David Payton is now joined top 5 battle. He's just about a second behind. So there he is in that D2D esports car, the Canadian trying to look for a race victory as well. If anything goes wrong between your top 5, Aeronom has begun the final lap for this event. And here he is now through turn 3 he goes. He's got an immense margin left. And he's got a lot of time to go. Let's see if Aeronom can keep it together and hold it for race victory yet again for yet another time this season. We ride on board with Eric Violet. And this will be his final opportunity at turn 1 on the final lap of the event coming up.
And Kevin Ford, he has further technical issues. He's out of the race again. So for the second time today, Kevin Ford is out of the race. So really, really unfortunate issues for him. He's having 2 issues now in the same race. So that's so unfortunate. Alessandrini, though, leading here as he's going to work his way onto the last lap of the race.
Across the front stretch they go. White flag waves. Eric Violet in second. Schwenke in third. He's on the outside line right now. Alessandrini, who's he trying to help right now? This is going to be intense. Oh, up the inside goes Violet for the lead. Alessandrini on the back foot. And Eric Violet for D2D Esports. Oh, I thought he had the lead for a second. That's incredible by DJ Alessandrini. Back into the first position.
And Travis Schwenke's going to try to go with him and try to hang around, but he's not going to be able to make it. Violet's going to have the inside, and now he's going to have the preferred slipstream on Alessandrini. He's got Schwenke pushing him from behind. And keep an eye, though, on David Payton. Payton is really starting to reel this group in. Jonathan White is also one that is definitely not out of contention as they're almost 3 wide behind. Travis Schwenke down the inside of Eric Violet. He's gonna possibly, I think he's just gonna get the better run off the corner and underneath the the Corvette bridge. And Schwenke, oh, they're going to make big contact. Schwenke with huge damage, I think. Doesn't look to be too straight of steering, but Jonathan White's going to be the beneficiary out of that. But look at that.
Sorry, Tyler. Aeronom's just won the race, so he's crossed the finish line, and he takes victory for yet another round of the Extreme Motorsports Ricmotech Sports Car Series. Another brilliant victory for Aeronom. Mike Dam will come home in the second position, and he takes the checkered flag. We're watching Jake Johansson, the leader in the open class, back to the lead for the MX-5 zone, and I think DJ Alessandrini's got one hand on the trophy here to win this race. He's got, oh, look at that gap. It's all over. Blow it, DJ. You're going to take another great victory, and it'll be all to him. The trophy, he'll taste some nice champagne after this event for round 7. And I have to say here, Tyler, DJ Alessandrini has driven splendidly, and I tipped him for victory, and he's proven me right.
Yeah, and he's been so dominant all night. As look at them. They're still fighting in the background here. They're fighting for team supremacy right now. David Payton and Eric Violet fighting for 3rd in class, actually 4th in class, and they're fighting for team supremacy right now. But Jonathan White and Travis Schwenke, they're going to round out of the final corner, and I think White is going to have just enough to hang out ahead of Schwenke. So Schwenke's going to have to settle for 3rd possibly. Let's ride on board with him now as he heads down the line. He's not going to be able to get that done, and Schwenke's going to have to settle for P3. But Alessandrini, awesome win, I will have to say. That was very, very impressive. He definitely had a very commanding victory there. Able to pull away by 1.5 seconds there in the end by the beneficiary of those two behind, battling so hard. And as we wait for everyone to go ahead and cycle their way through, we'll go ahead and get a replay of what happened to Matthew Katila.
Katila on in these closing stages. That wasn't Katila up ahead. That was the 29 in the MX-5, and then he collected that MX-5 ahead, who just got a bit tail happy through the corner. That was Patrick Prevenas, who was definitely not having the best of races. So that's that MX-5 we saw off earlier, and unfortunately for him, he's out of the event, and he's all the way down the order. But a brilliant victory for DJ Alessandrini, and that's win number 2 this season for DJ. As we still watch this incident with Patrick Prevenas, Tyler, and again, just wrong place, wrong time there for the driver of Matthew Katila.
Yeah, so really unfortunate. They're just trying to figure out exactly what happened. I couldn't find the replay of what happened between the two drivers in turn number 1, which unfortunately caused Jim List, I believe, to be black flagged for the incident. So unfortunate there is. Just wait for everyone just to kind of cycle their way through, and then we'll get grid results up here. So your results should be up on your screen right now.
So Aeronom is race winner for season 14, round 7 for the Extreme Motorsports Ricmotech Sports Car Series. He drove splendidly, and after the pit stop phase, we thought Mike Dam in second was going to hunt him down for that race lead, but the Crypto-G Orange Racing car fell short. Canadian ended up in second. Tyler Shiflett, who would have guessed he'd be on the podium after this race, with troubles for Robert Hartley after being taken out by a lapped car. And of course, for Kevin Ford, who had technical issues, Tyler Shiflett will take that podium any day of the week for Mech Motorsports. Then Brandon Whitworth down in the 4th position. Shiflett and Whitworth have had 2 great rounds here, coming from Mosport all the way to Road America. And then Leon Wright rounded out your top 5. For your open class, Jake Johansson took victory, and he ended up just a 10th behind there at the end, behind Leon Wright. So that was quite a tight battle towards the end of the race. And the rest of the field, as you can see on screen for your Mustangs, everybody pretty much finished on the lead lap who didn't have issues. So quite some quick pace in those Mustangs today at Road America. Now, you cycle through to your MX-5s. And it was DJ Alessandrini for Alessandrini Racing who took home victory, and he had pole position, looked quick all day, and still managed to stay ahead despite the draft. So the biggest gap at the end of the day was that final lap. So it all came, he pretty much was gifted that victory once the others started to battle behind him. That included Jonathan White, who was quite aggressive today, bump drafting searching his way up through the order and ends up on the podium. So that was brilliant by him. Schwenke ended up in third and rounded out your podium. Travis Schwenke would have expected more, though, from today's event. He certainly felt like he had the pace. For your three D2D esports drivers of Peyton, Violet, and Thorman, they ended up in 4th, 5th, and 6th. Unfortunately, no podium for all three of them. I'll be looking to hopefully improve on that at VIR in just a week's time. Then John Allen, he's going for the championship. You can see he had a lot of work to do today after starting from the rear end of the order. Lyndall McMurphy took victory for your open class. Good to see somebody else apart from Jacob Beasley winning that class. And of course, Jacob Beasley will be looking to reclaim first position back VIR in a week's time, as we said. The rest of the order is up on screen. But Tyler, before we head to post-race interviews, again, a brilliant race from Iro Nom. We're about to speak to him, but he just can't be touched in the first position.
No, he really can't. He's been so dominant all year long, and even if he's not the fastest driver out on the racetrack, which is very, very rare that he's not, he still finds a way to get himself up there and finds a way to keep himself out of trouble. Now, while the incidents today were kind of out of the hands of his competitors there, it still proves, though, that he is able to keep himself in good positions and able to keep himself out of trouble whenever he needs to. And even if he doesn't have the pace, is able to survive in that way.
And we will speak to your race winner, Iro Nom, who came home with yet another race victory. And Iro, can I just tell you yet again, I got a bit nervous through the pit stop phase because I felt that Mike Dam had fresher rubber for the rest of the event, but you just managed to pull away from him, which was, you just had some incredible pace in that second stint.
Yeah, actually, the gap was closing on. You had 2 laps fresher tires, so it was huge difference. Plus, I was saving fuel because I pitted lap too early. I knew I had to save, so that was the reason the gap was closing.
Yeah, and then I wondered, how did you extend the gap? Because at the end of the day, it was 7 seconds. I as well thought that with 2 laps fresher rubber, Mike Dam was certainly going to pass you, but I just guess you drove splendidly out there. You just were too quick. You just don't want to admit it, do you?
No, actually, the 2 laps is the reason he was faster. After that, tires fell off quite a lot. So also the first stint, I was saving my right side tires, and as we didn't change the tires, so I think I had better right side tires.
And talking about the track temp today, it was very slippery out there for a lot of drivers. Did the hotter track temp play into your favors, or do you think you would have preferred a colder track?
I think it was better for me. The practice actually was much hotter, so the practice was very horrible. So the race was actually pretty nice. You can slide and control the car.
And anybody you'd like to thank for your, another race victory? I'm losing count, man. You're winning too many races. Who would you like to thank?
I'd like to thank all the drivers. Very good job in the traffic again today. No issues. I'd like to thank the sponsors and league admins and you guys there.
I appreciate it. So that is race winner Iro Nom, who is slowly creeping in towards the championship. I think surely enough, Tyler. By the way, thanks, Iro, for the interview. We'll let you go.
Thank you.
Surely, Tyler, Iro Nom will possibly, I have to get my calculations correct, but could possibly seal the championship at round 8. I'll have to look into it. Maybe round 9 at the earliest. I could be getting ahead of myself.
I think that you're actually correct about that. The math sounds about right. I will have to do the math myself as well. Would be really, really interesting to see, though, if he is able to get that done. But your winner in the ST class, DJ Alessandrini, welcome to the commentary booth. Another amazing victory from you. How did you do that one?
I just worked together with people when it mattered, and I did my best to keep Violet behind me, so Schwenke couldn't get a shot at me. There was a chance where we could have broke away, just the 3 of us, but Violet kept diving in on turn 1 and stuff, so it made it exciting. And then something happened on the last lap where then John was behind me. But yeah, real fun race, a bunch of 3 wides. I just kind of just kind of hammed it up and threw it in there just because I thought it would be fun on stream, and it just ended up like working out for me each time. So
Yeah, we did an absolutely amazing job. Obviously, you had the pace, it looked to me, more than everyone else in the field, at least up in the front. It looked to me you had the most consistent car. Did you feel that way, or did you feel that you were kind of making up for the car a little bit in driving, or did you feel like you had the setup kind of figured out tonight?
The Grid Life iRacer series that I run in, and I made a real good setup back when we ran that in the winter, and it was pretty good here, but it was real warm, so I just had to soften up the shocks a little bit, and it felt exactly like it did back in the winter. So I had a pretty good setup coming into this. Um, I'll share it into this Discord. Can I drop files in this Discord?
I believe that you can.
Yeah, I'll share it so
Not
everybody can
too
have it.
sure. But yeah, it's you did a great job tonight. Obviously, you had a very good pace all the way through the night. Obviously, were able to lead quite comfortably, it looked like. And you seem to just have it all figured out. And that's the second win for you this season, I believe.
Yep.
So are you thinking about the championship, or are you just kind of taking it one race at a time?
No, I mean every race I come to, I'm not sure if I can even get into the race. Every single race so far, I've gotten like 5 to 6 laps of practice, and then qualifying starting. So getting to these races is a real struggle for me. So I'm lucky I've made 3 in a row, honestly.
Well, you've done an absolutely amazing job. Is there anyone you'd like to thank here tonight?
Like to thank my fiance for being a beast in everything that she does, and I'm proud of her.
Well, there you go. DJ Allison Jr., your winner here in the SD class. Congratulations again, and thank you for coming to the interview.
All right, thanks guys, appreciate it.
So yeah, that's DJ Alessandrini, your race winner, and that's very lovely. Thanking his fiance for another brilliant event. We'll speak to Jonathan White quickly before we let you go. And
hey guys,
Jonathan, how you going, mate? You had another podium.
Yeah.
The thing I'm concerned about is the front end of that MX-5, mate. I think you need to repair it because you were doing so much bump drafting today.
Really? Oh yeah. Well, did the car actually get damaged though? Because I was wondering, since on T1, one of the laps, I did get into gym a little bit.
Probably bump draft damage, like nothing that probably affected your performance. I don't think.
Yeah, I was bumping guys up in front. I didn't want to. I wasn't trying to pass too much because on this track, if you try and go side by side in some of the corners, you lose a lot of speed on the straight afterwards, and you lose the leaders. So it was best, in my opinion, to just bump draft a lot.
And I agree with you because I thought, number one, you're able to go quicker yourself, but the whole group's able to drive a bit quicker and break away from the pack. But also, you get to save a lot of fuel, as we're watching right now. Schwenke and Violet in a nice little clash. But strategy, I think, was... Did it really matter at the end of the day? Once you guys all reeled each other in on the final laps, it was pretty much all out on the racetrack is what mattered today, was the passing on the racetrack and not the strategy.
I mean, I would say so, because I believe Travis took 4 tires and I just took lefts. And I mean, honestly, the draft is so strong here that I don't think it kind of negates strategy, honestly. The only thing in my mind was just, get like 10 liters of fuel when you pit, and that's it.
Were you close to running out of fuel at the end? Because I was expecting Aeronom to go a lap shorter. But yeah, so you did feel like you're about to run out of fuel.
Yeah, the immediate lap after the finish, I did start sputtering, and so did DJ. So we really cut it close.
Anybody you'd like to thank before we let you go for today's event?
Yeah, again, John Allen, Travis Schwenk, and Jordy Fike and DJ for all helping me out. They really made me a better racer, since the start of the series. Also, I'd like to thank Frank Rico for the series, along with Kevin, and also especially Kevin for giving out the extreme baseline setups, which I use constantly, and they're very, very good.
Yeah, so that is Snipperdoodle himself, Jonathan White, and we'll let you go, mate. Hopefully see you at VIR as well. Take care. And Tyler, so that is another podium finish for Jonathan White, and since he's entered the series, he's just been phenomenal, hasn't he?
Yeah, he really, really has. All the new drivers this season that we've seen join up into the series really have been some phenomenal all the drivers in the series obviously race each other very, very hard and very clean. And they do an excellent show every single time, especially in this ST class. So close racing every time, and it's never a bad show in this class. So absolutely awesome to see. And yeah, I believe we have a week off before we head to VIR for the next round of the championship. I'm actually just going to check and see.
I got a little confused with that. That's something that we'll confirm for sure. But definitely, I have a bit of a conflict with the schedules we got at Apex and the actual schedule we received from the series. VIR should be in 2 weeks' time, not a week's time. So excuse me if I was incorrect with that. That won't change a thing, will it, Tyler? Just a couple more weeks of practice. We'll see hopefully some more drivers make the event. And VIR is a totally different racetrack to Road America.
Oh, yeah, it's totally different, and I've raced at that track as well in real life, and it's honestly one of the best racetracks in the country. The uphill S section's a very difficult section, and then through Oak Tree and down the long back straightaway. It's definitely some awesome action points to be keeping an eye out on for that one. So it should be absolutely awesome race, and I can absolutely not wait for that one. Another amazing round of action coming to you in 2 weeks' time. So we got a little bit of a break before we head over there. Like I said, just a little bit more practice and a little bit more time to prepare. Hopefully, we'll make the racing even better than it already is.
Yeah, most certainly. So join us at VIR for another 60 minutes of racing action, and that will host round 8 of the Extreme Motorsports Ricmotech Sports Car Series, presented today by our sponsors at Performer Elite Texas Graphics. So check them out where you can. That will be on Apex Racing TV, streamed live on our associated platforms. Thanks to the viewers as well. You guys have been amazing. Each broadcast, thanks for engaging, commenting, liking, and enjoying the broadcast for each round of the series. Myself, Jonathan Sawan, would like to say thank you alongside our producer and commentator, Tyler Maxson, and our entire Apex Racing TV crew behind the scenes, because this has been an Apex Racing TV presentation. We'll say so long from Road America, and we'll see you at Virginia in a couple of weeks' time.